There's another comment that says, none of my exes call me after sex. I would like for the comment to comment again, because I actually think it's kind of like a troll comment, right? Where it's like, none of my exes call me after sex. Who said they should, right? Like, it's like, I don't know. Like,
how did you get into the position of being in a relationship with them and then let them be your exes? Like,
right. So like we became, yeah.
Didn't call you.
So like we started dating, and then
I called them.
yeah, because then we were in a relationship, and then we had sex, and then they didn't call me.
You serious?
Like, well, obviously they were fucking playing you just to have sex. That's a pretty simple concept. I think we get like all fucked up on this one. Like, why didn't they call me after sex? I said it probably in the first video. I haven't watched the first video in a while. But like, they was all about sex to them, right? Like, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman. I don't know. But for men fucking lie.
This is why men lie. Because we are afraid of your reaction to the truth.
Right.
That's why we lie.
We lie. We lie sometimes, right? Just to get sex. It fucking happens, right? Our hormones get going, right? You got a fucking beautiful butt, like, and we lose our fucking minds, and we're like, of course I fucking love you, right? And like, that shit happens sometimes. I am not making excuses for it, women, but I am saying that shit happens, and the goal, right, of the other person, which would be you, right, the woman in this scenario, is to learn how to fucking weed through the bullshit that men are going to vomit all over you all the time, right? Especially when you're like going to bars or whatever, right? And super beautiful women, generally, because it happens to them all the fucking time, right? They get hit on all the time. They learn very quickly how to fucking move through that shit, right? Other women, right, who are not supermodels, which is the majority of fucking women out there, right? And for me, right, like it took me a while to figure out when women are fucking doing bullshit to me versus not bullshit to me, right? Because I'm the majority too, right? So it's like, for women that are the majority, it takes a second. You have to realize that these men are fucking idiots.
Like your hair, your eyes, your smile. I like every bone in your body, especially mine.
Like, they're just not, they're fucking morons a lot of times, right? And we're gonna have some comments that come up about all this shit where it's like, you know, I'm full of shit. The men don't agree, right? They're like, we're not horny, we're looking for love too, and we just don't, yeah, well, shut the fuck up. Because you get fucking horny sometimes, and you do dumbass shit just to get laid. And you have sex with women that you know you are not ever going to fucking be with, right? And there ain't nothing else that you're connected to them with. There's nothing else that like feeds you in the fucking soul and in the relationship to be with this person, right? You just specifically want sex. And if you can't admit that to yourself, then you're fucking lying to yourself, first of all. And second, you know, not even second. That's it. You're just lying to yourself. Who gives a shit? So this whole fucking comment, right? This comment, right? And then just the whole like, you know, why doesn't he call me after sex? Like, because he didn't fucking like you or he just wanted sex.
I need some sex! Man, I'm so horny, bro. I need to have sex soon. Please. Anybody. Please. Why is there no one to have sex with?
And it's the majority of the time, it's he just wanted sex. And all that shit and all that fucking connection that maybe you thought you had, right? It's bullshit. Because the man is fucking making it happen, right? He's being more than he normally is, right? He's being nicer than he is. He's being smarter than he is. He's being more charming than he normally is, right? Because if you see that motherfucker in his house, right, without you around, he's not a charming fucking guy, I promise you, right? He's not as charming as that guy that showed up with, I don't know, whatever the fuck, a stuffed animal, right? For the first time you guys met, right? Or he gave you some locket, you know, like whatever, a necklace, right? And you're like, oh, it's so fucking charming, I love it, right? And this fucking same guy, you know, he's fucking playing video games at home and he's got a dirty shirt and he's like, hey Ma, I need more fucking soda, you know, like that's the guy, right? But when he's out with you, he's super nice and you're like, I could see my life with this guy. And he's playing off of that shit because he wants to get laid. And it's not a fucking one of those things where it's like and this is where people get fucked up, where it's like, people think it's like a guy's plan, right? Where it's like, I'm gonna go out and then I'm gonna like fucking manipulate her this way and then I'm gonna manipulate her that way and then we're gonna have sex and then I'm gonna do, you know, and then I'm not gonna call her, right? Or I'm gonna call her like once or twice just to make sure that I can like ease her down, right? We're not that fucking smart. We don't do that. Like we show up and we're like, we'll see what happens, right? Like this is how we show up to dates. Is we are hoping that we can find a connection. Like a person that a woman that we can be around and we want to be with. And then we get there. And then we're like, something happens to our hormones, right? We're like, okay, she's interested in me. The animal shit comes up in us. And we're like, breed, right? Like, we want sex, right? That shit shows up. And then all of a sudden we start saying shit that we don't mean, right? And or we do, but it fucking feels good because we see your reaction. And we're like, every reaction that's good, that means I'm closer to sex, right? And we're not even thinking like sex. We're just like, it's like a natural thing. It's like a natural road that we go down, right? Where it's like, okay, I said this and I said something charming and she smiled and then I touched her fucking head right here and she was like, ah. And you're like, oh my God, like this might happen, right? And then you start saying more shit, right? You're like, oh, I love the little thing on your face, you know, a little dimple on your face, right? And like, I've never noticed a dimple in my whole fucking life unless I was horny, right? Like it just doesn't happen that way. Men, we don't work like that, right? Women, they're not horny and they're noticing fucking freckles that I never even noticed I had on my body, right? Like, they're like, did you know you have a freckle right below your ear? I'm like, I've been looking at that same spot my entire fucking life in the mirror and I've never seen that, right? And you're not horny and you saw it. So guys, we start noticing that shit when we're horny, right? And then we start saying it. And then all of a sudden you think we're like the most charming people ever. And then we just, you know, there's like the what do you call it? The potion of like fucking lust and you know, two people connecting and sex and all that. And then all of a sudden the night ends and we have sex, right? And then all that shit goes away. And then we wake up in the morning and we're like, fuck.
Damn!
I don't like her as much as like I was saying I did last night. And I don't know why the fuck I did that. That happens more than you would want to fucking know. I promise you. And it's super sad and it super sucks and blah, blah, blah. But in the same sense, that's human nature. And a lot of times you just got to figure that shit out, right? You just got to see it, right? You just got to understand that men are fucking dogs a lot of times. We're just dogs. And we just follow that fucking scent, right? The better that scent gets, the more we're like fucking humping, you know? Like, it's just how it goes. And then all of a sudden we're saying shit and we don't know what the fuck we're saying. And then we get laid and then the next day we're like, holy fucking shit. I think I blacked out last night. What the fuck did I say even, right? I didn't even drink. Like, that's what happens. So that's a lot of times why he didn't call you after sex. It's because he went down this fucking crazy sex weird road, you know, where he's just all about emotion and he's all about bullshit. And he couldn't control himself. He said shit he didn't mean, got you to like him. You guys had sex. Next day he didn't call you. Do your best to fucking recoup from that and move the fuck on. And notice that shit. That's why you don't generally have sex the first time you ever go out. Because that's very simple, right? Because we'll fall into that in a goddamn heartbeat, right? You drag us out for 3 weeks or a month, right? Hopefully you can subside some of that bullshit. And then all of a sudden you can get him saying real shit. And then once you get him saying real shit, then you can figure out exactly who he is. And then you can have sex. And then chances are he'll fucking call you. So there's that.